Hello, beautiful being. Welcome to In Her Dreams, and welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you're taking time to tune in to see what messages are flowing in from Spirit for you. Ashe. Thank you, Divine. Alright, let's go ahead and get an overall message to begin your reading. Thank you, Spirit. What is coming through for this beautiful being? Mimicry. There's somebody who wants to be like you. They want to talk like you, walk like you, act like you, look like you, be like you. This might feel frustrating. Some of you might not care, but for some of you it might be frustrating. But it helps to realize that the only people who do this are people who have no sense of self. They can't find themselves. They feel so lost. And so they find the brightest, beautiful being that they see, somebody that they wish they were, and they grab hold of what you do, any energy that you put out there, that you radiate. They try to mimic it. Divine is bringing through that there are two different things going on here, okay? Some people imitate, and some people feel inspired by who you are and what you do. So the people who imitate, who try to copy you, that's like going to the left, okay? That's not what they should be doing. These are people who like copy or steal your work. People who claim to be who you are, okay? So they're literally trying to copy what you do. There are other people who will view what you do or witness your work, your content, your creations, your crafts, whatever it is that you send out there to the universe. And they're inspired by it, so it influences them. Okay, so you might notice that there's somebody around you who kind of like does something a little bit similar to something that you've done, but they make it their own, right? It doesn't feel like they just took what you did and repeated it. That's just lazy imitation. But a person who is inspired by you, that's okay. And so I'm kind of seeing that here with this German Shepherd here. The way I saw this card when I pulled it, I saw that there are people who are doing like lazy imitations of you and trying to just be just like you without giving any effort that's unique from within themselves. But there are some beings who are just taking notes. They're allowing whatever it is that you share, they're absorbing it. They're taking it in, and they're inspired by it. And so it kind of melds in with their consciousness, you know? And that influence is obvious in what they create. But that's not copying. That's really kind of like what we're supposed to do, is allow ourselves to be inspired by others and receive that positive influence and let it meld into our consciousness as a part of the positive being that we are. you know, positive, negative. We take from both ends of the spectrum. Both can be beneficial depending on where we are and what we're doing. But this is very positive. Okay? What else, Spirit, is coming through? Isolation and grief. Yeah, see, somebody is very inspired by what you're doing and by your work because they feel very isolated. You are a huge source of inspiration for someone at this time. They feel completely isolated. There is some sort of loss that this person has gone through. And they feel this pain on a daily basis. It's as if you are a part of their daily schedule or routine. We'll tap in to see more if there's more that's coming through about this, but it just feels like you inspire them at a very tough time in their life. They're looking for belonging. They're looking for inspiration to help them rise above this very low frequency that they've been struggling with. I'm getting also that this is just a natural part of their life right now, a part of a cycle that they're going through, that they're experiencing, and it's to teach them how to raise their vibration. That's the lesson that they're being guided by the universe to learn, is how to maintain their vibration at a high state. Okay? How to pick themselves up. What's at the bottom? Play. Yeah. That's how you feel to them. You feel like a sense of relief. Because look, they wouldn't be watching you like this if you didn't. This German Shepherd right here, he pulled up intentionally. He came and sat down. He knew this crow was going to be here. By the way, the crow spirit is very wise, extremely intelligent. Okay? And you know, when we hear them call, they're speaking to us. So this German Shepherd pulls up every day to hear whatever it is that you have to say, whatever it is that you're sharing. I'm seeing like they could have a little like notebook. You know, they're ready to take notes. Maybe mentally, but I'm seeing them take notes. They want to hear you. Also, there's this look of almost like fear on their face, like, but like awe. Like, it's reverence, it's respect. It's not fear in a negative sense. It's like they respect you. There's also something very surprising or shocking that they experience when they hear you, but it's good. It's like it wakes something up inside of them. There's something about your message or whatever it is that you do, you create. It could be music, it could be art, but it sort of jolts them a little bit. It shocks them. But it wakes something up inside of them that's been dormant for a long time, which is one reason why it comes across that they are copying. They're not copying, it's inspiration. Now there could be some beings that are copying, imitating, doing the lazy stuff, right? But this being that's coming through here, or these beings, they're truly inspired by you. Okay? Ooh. Thought that was gonna fall. Maybe somebody feels like they're gonna lose something. Maybe they feel like, okay, they lost something, but they feel like they're getting it back when they tune into you. That's that grief there. What else, Spirit? Building blocks? Yeah, see, okay, this person feels very, it could be a whole collective of people, especially if you have a large following. Okay? There could be a group of people that are just truly inspired by what you create, and you inspire them to build something. You help them visualize their own blueprint. You're like no other that they've seen. That's what I'm hearing. You're like no other that they've seen. And so you help them. You know, it's kind of like how I see Sade. Now, like, you know, okay, maybe Sade was, and I don't know, I'd have to look up like who inspired her. But I could see her being inspired by like jazz artists of the past. You know, like I get like Billie Holiday vibes, you know what I mean? But she's still altogether different. And so we look at Sade as an artist who is so unique and original that she's almost become like her own genre. So we say like, well, what's her style? What's her singing style? What's her musical style? Oh, she's a little bit kind of like Sade, you know, it's like a whole genre. So that's how you are. There are certain people who come along who, even though they are also inspired by others, they just have a whole class of their own. Like, okay, you look at Elvis. I remember sitting and watching old footage of Jackie Wilson as a little girl. My dad liked him, so we were watching footage of him. And I was like, Daddy, look, he's dancing like Elvis. And he said, Elvis was dancing like him. He made that very clear that Jackie Wilson came before Elvis. But still, Elvis took on this whole persona and developed this whole like class of his own, right? Now he was inspired by others, but look at what he took on, which was this like fame that nobody could have ever imagined. Well, that's the vibe I'm getting here, is that I'm sure that there are beings that have inspired you, and more than anything, you're divinely inspired. But yet you have a class of your own. You're in a class of your own. And that's what people are noticing. That's what people feel when they get in touch with your creations, is that you are original. You are original. And so they are truly inspired by you. Yeah. Tarot. We'll get to the tarot. Let's do this one first. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, what's coming through for this beautiful being? Yeah. Okay. We got chaos, High Priestess of Water, meditation, and fulfillment. There's some amazing fulfillment and abundance that's coming as a result of chaos. What I'm getting is that this has been your path. There was something very chaotic, very grief-inducing that you went through that caused you to get in touch with your intuition. It awakened your intuition. And this could be something that you have gone through several times in your life, but it feels like you've gone through this cycle several times where you experienced chaos, what felt like destruction. 1414 on the timer, this all brought you to a place of temperance. This is what has brought you to this state of fulfillment in your earth angel energy. And you tap into that High Priestess of Water. You might have significant water energy in your chart. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And through meditation and reflection, you go within. You definitely go within. I feel like you do this on a daily basis. You live a meditative life. And this leads you to fulfillment that nobody could imagine. Nobody could ever imagine. And you become this being that is so unique. And it's because you didn't just sit in front of the TV and watch somebody and say, I'm going to be like that. Or you didn't just watch YouTube videos all day and say, oh, I want to be just like that reader. You took from your life, from the pain, from the joy, from the sorrow, from the what felt like madness, from the greatness, from everything. And it has become beautiful you. And so these beings, which I feel like is a whole collective of beings that now watch you or observe you or enjoy what you create, they have a similar path. Because remember, they're feeling isolated and they're grieving. As we're in minute 16, the Tower, okay? These are people who have recently gone through a tower or are going through something like that, and they're, I'm hearing pick up the pieces. Pick up the pieces. They're picking up the pieces from a time where they were struggling. They're not struggling anymore. They're picking up the pieces. That's a very different place to be in. Okay? And what I'm getting is that these beings are divinely chosen for a path on which they heal themselves and then heal others. And so they only spend a very short amount of time where they're like in total grief and just sort of immobile, you know, where you can't really like do much. You're just like, but then 1717, we begin to heal. We see our hope in that star energy. And that's when we start to pick up the pieces and put it all together and gain insight. And then inspiration. And that is an important part of the path. Whether you are, you know, you consider yourself chosen or an earth angel or just simply divinely inspired or whatever, we all are inspired by others. We all are inspired by others. As unique as Sade is, I'm sure that there are beings that she has heard who have inspired her. It is with everybody, you know? So you are one of those who inspires others. You inspire others, and so they're not copying you per se. They are inspired by you. I'm not saying there aren't people who copy you. I'm not saying that. But Divine is bringing your attention, your awareness to a collective of beings that is truly inspired by you. Okay, yeah, they said go to the tarot after that. What else do we need to know about this, Spirit? What else do we need to know about this? This could be something that you've been concerned about with your either your community or your collective, you know? Also, what I'm getting is that the people who are inspired by you could have recently gone through something related to home and family, emotional connections. They've left something. And so that's why they feel this isolation. Is because they've chosen to leave something, someone, a group. You know how the path is. When we have to be like, Deuces, I'm out. You know, and it's not ever easy. I think the easiest thing about it is that our soul gets so fed up with the ish that we go through. We have to part ways, right? But then after that, it's like, that's when the isolation sets in. Divine might be calling you to tune into that. You know, when you felt isolated at some point in time, that's something that a lot of beautiful beings around you would love to hear about, is the isolation that you have felt, that you've gone through, and perhaps that you still go through. I mean, it's not like we get to some pinnacle and we don't have to feel any of these feelings anymore. It's just that we get stronger, and the same struggles that we faced before in the past don't bother us as much. 2111 on the timer. So we gain balance as we continue to experience new beginnings and whatnot and go further on our path, but we still feel, you know what I mean? I was just thinking, I was like, whew, we made it through the holidays. One of the most toxic times of the year. Ain't it though? Right? Let's be real. And a lot of toxicity comes out at that time of year because people know that that's a time where we're expected to come together. So it's like the claws come out, you know, the masks come off, and people just show all their ugliness. And I'm not talking about physical ugliness. I'm talking about spiritual ugliness, emotional, unhealed trauma and all that, that they're just, bleh, you know, making everybody's issue. You know, it can be really tough, but we made it, y'all. Ashe. Yeah, see? Conflict. So it feels like there is significant conflict that you have been through, that you have gained wisdom from. The divine is saying it's okay to tap into that energy in order to channel healing to others, to reflect on it, to reflect on the conflict that you've been through. What I'm getting is that there could be experiences that you've been through that you would like to reflect on and create as a result of. So going back to some times in your life where you were going through something, or it could be something that you're currently going through, and you want to create based on that, but you're like, but I'm kind of still going through it. You know, it's like when you don't want to step on toes because you know certain people are watching and all of that. This is how I feel about that. If somebody was bold enough to put drama on your plate, or to put some sort of chaotic situation on your plate, then why can't I be bold enough to heal my way through it and to reflect on it and to create as I am inspired by that? You know, people are very bold in how they go about causing turmoil and chaos for others. So why can't we be just as bold in reflecting on it and sharing our truth about it? Sharing divine truth about all of those experiences that we go through, or any of those experiences that we go through. We can have that same boldness and know that what we're doing is helping others, not hindering them. And if anyone is offended by the truth that we speak, then maybe they should ask themselves why. Why does this bother? Why does this bother me? You know, this creator is sitting over here reflecting on their life. Why does that bother me? They need to ask themselves that. The 2444 on the timer, your experiences are your own. And whatever someone has brought to you in your life for you to deal with, you get to alchemize it in the best way for you. You're not enslaved by them. That's what they wanted. You're able to speak in the way that you are led to. And that's what leads to your Four of Wands. Your wholeness, your union with others, 25-25 on the timer. Your sense of union and unity with those that you are meant to connect with in this world. Your ability to celebrate. Divine is saying, don't put a cap on what you create. Just because petty people from the past might be uncomfortable, well, then they should not have spread turmoil. And it's not about doing anything out of revenge. It's about seeking to heal. You got to do you to heal. You know, we're not going to stay in the corner and cower in fear. Oh, what are they going to think? If, you know, and the thing is that for most of us, like I was talking about these cycles of chaos, and then having deeper awareness and intuition. More than likely, whatever last bit of chaos you went through, you had gone through similar types of chaos with similar types of people. So for anyone to sit on their high horse and think, oh, they're talking about me, like, it might just be an archetype. You might just be an archetype now, okay? There are, look at all these archetypes we've got. All these types of people, okay? And there are so many that these chaotic beings fit into. So at some point in time, we're no longer talking about Susie and Sally and Brian and David and whoever. We're talking about an archetype of a saboteur. The archetype of a vampire. You know what I mean? But of course they want to think that we are talking about them because that's more drama, you know? There are beings who would turn anything into drama, even your desire to heal. Somehow your desire to heal and learn and teach and all of that becomes their source of drama. That's a problem, but for them, it's not your problem. So you create what you need to create so that you can have your celebration, your divine unions and unity with like-minded beings, okay? Or people who seek to be like-minded. There are people who are assigned to share information with people who are considered karmic. Yeah. 28-28 on the timer. They're meant to address the karmics and to meet them where they are so that they are able to learn about themselves and ascend. Because we have to remember, at some point, we've all been aligned with the karmic timeline. At some point. If not in this lifetime, then in a past lifetime. You know what I mean? So, all right, we've got 8 of Swords, 9 of Cups, 6 of Wands, 3 of Wands, High Priestess, 2 of Swords. There's somebody who's really trying to confuse you about your success. I mean, it's clearly here. We had fulfillment. You got 4 of Wands. You got 9 of Cups. 6 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands is telling you to move forward with all of your intuitive efforts, your intuitive projects. But see, somebody wants all of that goodness sandwiched in between the 8 of Swords and the 2 of Swords. Feeling stuck, feeling imprisoned by imaginary things, feeling imprisoned by their own projections. That's exactly what this is. Somebody wants you to feel like you're not able to create, which that's what Spirit is bringing through, that you are doing so much good. If you have been wondering if the things that you're creating are making any impact, they absolutely are. But there's somebody, and you know who wants you to feel this Eight of Swords and this Two of Swords, is the people who are actually copying you. You see, you've got two different groups of people here. There's one group of people who are trying to, I'm hearing that phrase like bite your work. Like, you know, they just want to copy and paste what you do. They don't want to put any effort into their own energy signature. They really want to be you, right? But they want to stop you from being you. Isn't that crazy? It really is psychotic. It's very psychotic. But they want to be you and take your place. They don't want you to continue being you. See, that's the difference. The other people who are truly inspired by you, they love that you show up. They love that you are who you are. They love what you create, and they're truly inspired by it. They're not trying to copy you. They're just influenced by you because they're inspired by you. So the people who actually copy you, who want to be you, but they want to stop you from living your destiny, they want to do that by having you in your head, feeling like there are limitations around you that truly don't exist. You know, the limitations that they want to make you think that you need to stop because of? It's their projections. That's all it is. So this could be any sort of repeated patterns that you've noticed from people who copy you, stalk you, want to be just like you, try to interrupt your life but can't, because that's not your destiny. Your destiny is not to be stopped. Your destiny is to keep going. Okay? So you may have seen some sort of repeated effort by someone who in the past has tried to stop you or tried to copy you. They're doing that because they are so worried. They see your wish fulfillment taking shape, and they're panicking. So they want to reel you back in to this type of energy in order to stop you. But they can't, because you're doing too much good. Also, you're always growing and shifting and evolving. So as you do that, purify your mental energy and your aura, the energy around you. Make sure that you are not allowing anyone into your space, into your realm, that tampers with your energetic frequency. And whatever repeated patterns you notice or efforts that you notice by beings that want to stop you, just like if it's an email, block. If it's a phone call, block. Like if it's, you know, because you block them but then they call from a different number, shit like that, block them. Just block, block, block. Or you handle it the way that you feel led to, but this is what's coming through, that Divine is saying don't even entertain the repeated efforts that they make in order to try to infiltrate your energy. You already know what it is. You already know how they come to you, because they always have the same types of tricks. They just come, it's always the same package, they just wrap it differently. You know what I mean? And this is you, High Priestess of Water. So you know what it is. Alright? You know exactly what it is when they're coming to you with that nonsense. So don't even entertain it. You're wise to the point now where you don't have to enter that realm with them. And that is what will keep you secure in your state of growth, of evolution. so that you don't have to falter, you don't have to question yourself and enter that, it's like in Stranger Things, what do they call it? The upside down. Okay, you don't have to go into that alternate realm where it's like things are looking weird and what is this? What am I doing? And no, you don't have to question yourself. That's something that you went through before in order to learn this energy, to understand what this energy does and what it's like. You don't do that anymore. Okay? And I feel like that's a part of this as well. I'm seeing these cards in a different way now also. See, yeah, because whoever's trying to get you to doubt yourself, they've had to walk away from their blessings. But also, they're trying to get you to walk away from your Ten of Cups. They don't want you to experience happiness and fulfillment. That's the last thing that they want for you. And coming to terms with that helps a lot, because sometimes we just want people to be kind and loving. But when we realize that they are so filled with turmoil and emotional baggage that they refuse to release, heal, understand, it helps. 36 on the timer. It helps a lot. Thank you, Divine. What does this beautiful being need to know from this deck? Yeah, somebody's trying to create a veil of illusion, like you don't know who you are or where you're going or what you're doing. And notice all of these have something on their face. It's like this person is trying to block your intuition with the they want you blindfolded. They don't want you to see your goodness. You see that? Now she can still see, but there's still an X over her third eye. There's a serpent around her neck. So there's something that they want to block regarding your throat chakra. Yeah, they want to confuse your perception of reality, but that's exactly what's happening with them. They have clouded judgment just for them to simply think that they could do that. Okay, this is the advice on this card. It says you don't need to engage directly. Let the confusion work in your favor. This person is confused. Let them remain confused. There's nothing that you need to help this person with. There's no advice that you need to give them. You don't need to save them. Their missteps will lead them further off course. Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. All right. Chains of stagnation. Their inability to adapt will trap them in place. Stay fluid in your approach, and they will remain locked in their stagnant ways. Divine is really hitting hard that there's no need to engage with this person or with whatever people are trying to hold you back. It's that they want you to see them as everybody. They're not everybody. They are a percentage of whoever it is that loves who you are and what you do and what you create and what you share. A very small percentage. Okay? Most of the beings who engage with you and your content or whatever you create, they love what you do and they are inspired by it. They're not here to copy you. Okay? They're here to engage and learn and be inspired. This is you, the sovereign. And this is so important because this person wants you influenced by their negative energy, but you remain seated on your throne, looking beautiful, stunning, and you are sovereign. in your energy, on your divine path. You are the ruler of your own life. It says, claim your power and rule your domain. The advice is to step into your full power. Lead with authority and wisdom, and you will attract those who recognize your strength and leadership. Because there's some of everything out there. But what you are attracting is beings that want to see you here. Because this is where they want to be as well. And they're willing to do the work to get here. They're not trying to step on anybody. They're not trying to ruin anybody's life. They want to be sovereign, and they love to see you as a sovereign being. That's why you inspire them so much. So remain in your sovereignty. Okay? All right, beautiful being. I love that. I love that. All right, let's close with a, let's do an Archangel Michael card. Sword of Light. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for your protection. What's coming through for this beautiful being? We've got card number 42 at the bottom. Your prayers are being answered. Ashe. Thank you, Divine. What else does this beautiful being need to know at this time? It's almost over. There's something that felt like a tower that is almost over. Someone's time is running out. Yeah. Your current challenges will soon be resolved, and you'll be able to look to the future with a smile. And I say do that anyway. You have every reason to, because you're already being reassured that everything is going to work out. It is working out in your favor. So don't allow anybody to cast illusions that make you think that your future is anything other than bright, beautiful, and abundant. Ashe. All right, beautiful being. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful that you did. I hope that you got some good vibes out of this, some clarity, some insight. And I love you. I wish you peace. I wish you so many blessings. Take care.